All right, so to get started with our second meeting, we have a few things that we're gonna go over that's new, but then I first want to just refresh on what we talked about last time, which was kind of just getting to know each other and having a little bit of an agreement that we'll use the therapy appointments and that'll be confidential and how we went over that. Starting with involuntary clients is kind of usually how it goes, but for me and having people then feel more comfortable as time goes on. And so I've seen that growth. And so just, yeah, looking forward to where this can go. But again, just being able to um, really focus on our relationship and just having trust and feeling safe and knowing that everything that's discussed here is going to stay here and just being able to get to know each other is important for this process. So I kind of was wanting to just kind of check in with you since the last time of seeing kind of where you've been at. So I'm going to be doing this assessment that is called the systems assessment. It's broken down into 5 different categories. And yeah, it's just like a couple questions for each thing. And then you can just respond with not even super in-depth answers. But then after the assessment, then we will make some goals. And that's where we'll kind of wrap up um, our our time. So first, um, with the systems assessment, is what brings you here today? And I know that maybe that before I have you answer, it could seem like repetitive because we talked about this last week a little bit, but maybe just refresh on what are some of the main things that you've been seeing recently that have been frustrating for
Yeah.
you.
The main things I think are just noticing a difference in my personality. I've been more angry. I used to be, I've always had a fairly good relationship with my parents, and they've just started seeing things in me um,
Mhm.
as far as anger, and I haven't been sleeping as well or just acting, feeling as joyful as I've displayed in the past.
Mhm. Yeah. So my next question is when you have maybe those um, feelings that are overwhelming and you notice that personality difference, do you ever feel like unsafe with yourself, or do you ever feel like it's so uncontrollable that you aren't sure of what maybe you could do?
I think I've never been in a position where I feel unsafe.
Okay, that is good to hear. Then the next question is having kind of again reiterating those issues that again maybe they don't even present themselves as big issues, but um maybe they're more like basic needs that need to be met. um and I think about even what we talked about last time of with your sleep, and that's something. So yeah, maybe just what are some of the basic needs that you think maybe aren't being met in your life right now?
Hmm. Um, I definitely know that just like the mood difference and personality shift I've experienced has created some um, just uncertainty of how to connect with people. And I used to be pretty connected with others, and I played sports in school and just had a lot of friends, but I feel like that's just been not as much a part of my life, which probably plays into
Mm-hmm.
it. And then, of course, like the sleep component, which
Okay.
you kind of said already.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, and then the last question, um, are what are the supports that are already in place in your life that you feel are helping you currently with what's going on?
Mhm. Um, I would say just having my parents and knowing that they're on my side and trying to help me do what's best for me. And even if I'm
Mhm.
not seeing situation super clearly or don't really know exactly what to do, I trust their guidance and their support.
Yeah, that's good. Very good. And then you kind of already talked about this of how you previously had kind of more protective factors or you helped with the issues that you're dealing with now and how that in the past had been resolved with you mentioned like sports and friendships. Is there anything else that you want to add to that of how you were maybe in like your different season of life and how there are some other things that were helpful? And if there's not anything, that's also okay too.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of covers it. There's been seasons where I've been involved in like more of like a church community with people that are, they have
Mhm.
good values and they're very motivating to be around. And I think that I notice that that's really good for me and hasn't been as much of a priority in my life lately, but I still know that in my heart that that was a good part of my life at one
Mhm.
point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too. The church that maybe you had been involved with, or even um, just mentioning that because I was meaning to actually kind of when we go into the goals and setting goals of asking some of the values that you have specifically over your life right now. And so I think like a good question for we'll just set probably one goal today that's very specific and just is realistic and knowing that it can be able for you to reach. So again, going into that, what are a few values that maybe would help like approach setting a goal?
Mhm. Um, I think something my parents have always encouraged is to put faith at the center. And so I would like to prioritize that and setting a goal. I know that would help me.
Mm,
Um, I also just know with my experiences in the past that having people and like being more relational with other people is helpful even when I'm not feeling like it. So I'd say like community and faith
mm,
are values that would be good to consider.
yeah. All right, that's really good to know. I think that um after hearing all of this today, a goal that maybe I'm gonna start to like kind of maybe get the ball rolling, but if you have anything that you want to add to finish the goal, then that would be um great. So I'm even thinking like before the next time that we meet, being able to just identify a group, either that's a church or a club or an activity or just something that you can get involved in that um, can maybe be motivating and like you said of just being able to have the value of your faith at the center. And so if that is church, that sounds like that would be a good goal. If it's not, that's okay too. So yeah, what's something that maybe is there anything that you want to add to that goal, or do you think that that's um would
Yeah, I
be
think that's a good place to start.
yeah, so that be between um today and when we meet today and then when we meet next week. So yeah, I look forward to just being able to hear more about that. And then, yeah, as we wrap up, the last thing I was just going to ask is checking in with you, like, of how comfortable you're feeling and how you are now after the second time of meeting and with a goal being set, how you're feeling. Just you could even give it a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being that you're like in crisis mode, like what would that scale be?
I think I'm probably at a 4 or 5.
Mm.
I know that I've got a long way to go, but I also am comforted knowing that there's ways to make progress and people willing to help. So,
Yeah, that's great. Well, that is really good to hear. Thanks for meeting today. And that is it.